Part 5, the sacred design of polarity and divine purpose. In Conversations, God reveals that creation was not born out of necessity or lack, but from an infinite and perfect being's desire to know itself fully. To truly know itself, God needed to experience separation and relativity, the interplay of opposites. This led to the creation of here and there, this and that, and ultimately the entire universe as a vast field of relationships. God calls this gift of relativity the greatest gift ever given to himself and to all beings. Because without contrast, there could be no awareness or experience of love, light, or even existence itself. God describes creation as a divine game or experiment where the one being divides itself into many parts to experience separation. This separation is an illusion, but it is necessary for the soul's journey of rediscovering unity. Think of God like the ultimate method actor who got so committed to the role that he forgot he was acting. God basically said, you know what? Being all knowing and perfect is boring as hell. Let me forget I'm God, spit myself into 8 billion confused humans, and see what happens when I try to figure out who I am through drama, heartbreak, and the occasional existential crisis at 3 a.m. It's the ultimate test. The whole point is that every argument you have, every moment you fall in love, every time you help a stranger, is literally God having a conversation with himself, playing cosmic hide and seek, where the ultimate prize is remembering that you were never actually lost in the first place. In Conversations, God said, my purpose in creating you, my blessed creatures, was so that I might have an experience of myself as the creator of my own experience. Campbell's framework supports this precisely, explaining that the LCS created IUOCs not as separate entities, but as aspects of itself, exploring different perspectives and possibilities. This is what Barry and many other mentors of mine meant when they said we are humans, that we humans are fractals of the divine. We are literally God. And what humans often perceive as evil, suffering, or the problem of existence is actually part of this sacred design. Campbell's work explains this through the concept of entropy, the degree of disorder in any system. The LCS is constantly working to lower its entropy, which means increasing love, cooperation, and integration while decreasing fear, separation, and chaos. The LCS is basically like having the universe as your personal life coach with a serious vendetta against chaos. When you start choosing love over fear and cooperation over being a selfish prick, the LCS thinks, finally, someone who gets it. Suddenly, you're bumping into exactly the right teacher at a coffee shop or finding the perfect book left on a park bench. It's not magic. It's the universe recognizing you as a valuable player in its eternal war against entropy. So when it spots someone actually helping instead of making things worse, it's like, hell yes, let's give this person some backup. This is when synchronicities, downloads from the divine, or shifts in consciousness start happening. Campbell emphasizes that the rule set governing our virtual reality ensures that every choice has consequences, creating a perfect learning laboratory where consciousness can experiment with different approaches to existence. We see entropy everywhere in life. In nature, anything that stops moving, growing, or adapting becomes entropy's victim. A human body that stops exercising literally falls apart as muscles atrophy and systems deteriorate, while a river that stops flowing turns into a stagnant pond that eventually dries up or becomes a swamp. Ecosystems that become isolated lose genetic diversity and resilience, making them brittle and prone to collapse. Even at the cellular level, when cells stop dividing and renewing, they accumulate damage and die. Stagnation equals death. Movement equals life. Communities that resist change fragment. Relationships that fall into routine dissolve. And any system that stops exchanging energy with its environment gets consumed by entropy. Your soul, through you and quote unquote feeding the LCS, is either growing and flowing in love or slowly dying in fear. There's no middle ground because entropy never takes a day off. And that especially includes within the infinite realms of the LCS.